Hi, did you know that gold can be used as a geopolitical instrument? How? Follow this video. Welcome to this channel, Tengafak. My name is Dr. Yusuf Ouattara. I'm a policy expert based in Burkina Faso. We all know from economists, basically monetary economics, that gold has various functions, but basically financial and economic functions. Gold is in account units. Gold is a value of refuge. Gold can be used as an instrument for transaction, but very few have developed or understand that gold can be used as a geopolitical instrument. We remember that President Traore this year gave an interview to regional media and one international media, and he discussed about various issues. And then a journalist asked him some questions on the gold, on Burkina gold, basically the gold reserve and how gold is being used strategically in Burkina. This is what President Traore said. He said when he came to power in 2023, because he came to power in 2022, but in 2023, they were planning to purchase a lot of military equipment, including aircraft, drones, and many other equipment. And then they were stopped by some obstacles. And those obstacles were not that there was no money. The problem was geopolitical obstacles. You know, in 2023, Burkina was still member of ECOWAS. And according to ECOWAS regulations, if a member country wants to purchase weapons, he needs the authorization from ECOWAS. The problem is that behind ECOWAS, there are some superpowers which influence ECOWAS decisions making, basically when it's come to these kind of issues. Because according to President Traore, he said that he was told that until he decided to come back on some of his decision, until he decided to follow some geopolitical path, until he decided to comply with some requirement from international stakeholders, he will not get those equipment. He will not get the authorization to buy the equipment. So it was clearly a blackmail. It was clearly a geopolitical hindrance. And it's not just based on ECOWAS regulation, but because Traore and his team had taken some geopolitical decision. They have stopped cooperation with former partners, and they had taken a different path for sovereignty and independence. And many did not like this either in the ECOWAS region. So there are cases, or there were cases where there were no ban, no restriction on purchasing those equipment. But when Burkina ordered the Central Bank of West Africa, Francophone West Africa, to pay the vendors for the equipment, the payment were not getting through. Why? They asked and they didn't got any answer. Actually, the central bank were under the pressure of some president of the region. While we know that normally a central bank should not be subject to political pressure. So there were hindrances from the central bank, even if there were money, and there were also hindrances from ECOWAS, and let's say some international stakeholders who use ECOWAS as an instrument in order to prevent and to impose restrictions against Burkina for purchasing those weapons. While we know on the ground, terrorists was killing people and they were taking some people's assets and they were taking ground on the field. So, according to President Traore, what he did, he asked the vendors, those who are selling those weapons and the aircraft, he asked them whether they would like to be paid with gold. And they say yes. They say they will be happy to take gold instead of euro or instead of dollars. Then President Traore decided he ordered all the mining companies operating in the country to bring all the gold that they would produce that month. So Burkina requisitioned 1 month gold from all the mining companies. It's legal. According to Burkina legislation, the government can requisition the gold if it wants it. But the only condition is that the government should compensate or should pay the owners, the companies, the equivalent amount of money for this gold taken. And that's what happened. So Burkina requisitioned 1 month gold from gold companies and paid them the equivalent amount of money. Then they called the vendors, the countries who are selling those military equipment. Then they evaluate based on the value of gold at the international level, and then the equivalent in terms of weight, in terms of kilogram or whatever, and then the vendors were paid with gold. So that's how Burkina broke the restriction imposed upon the country in terms of purchasing military equipment. But we know that it was also useful for Russia, because after the Ukraine and Russia war spoke out, there were sanctions against some Russia companies, including some banks. So in terms of international transactions, some Russian banks could not conduct international transactions using the Swiss system. The operation conducted by Burkina also helped Russia break these restrictions on the bank, and which was legal. So Burkina broke the geopolitical restriction and hindrances that was imposed upon it for purchasing the military equipment, and it was totally legal by using just gold. As we notice, it's not just a matter of money, but it's a matter of geopolitics. And according to President Traore, when they decided so and they got the equipment, those who had imposed sanctions and restrictions, they started lifting those restrictions and allow Burkina to pay to purchase gold, because there were many stakes, there were many issues at stake. Because if the money does not go through the central bank, if the money does not go through a transfer system, then you don't know how much actually is paid, and you don't know how much equipment are purchased. For many international stakeholders, they became to notice that with this strategy, there are some information that they will be missing, and that's why they decided to lift the barriers. At least they can know what is going on, what is the quantity of weapon purchased, and what is the amount of money that is put in those commercial operations. So as you see, gold is not just a monetary and economic instrument. It's a geopolitical instrument, and Burkina Faso have successfully experienced it. Thank you for watching. I hope you like the video. So I invite you to subscribe to this channel, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and also share. Thank you for watching.